So let's breathe in and breathe out. The simplest form of prayer, always available to us in every moment of every day, the awareness of breath in and breath out. And let's bring to mind this afternoon the person in our life who could benefit from more love, more peace, more ease. That person in our life that we know is struggling maybe with something, is out of sorts. And let's picture that person in our mind's eye. And let's imagine the love that they are already, the peace that is available to them from the inside. Let's imagine that welling up in them. Let's imagine the God of their being to fill them up from the inside. To let the divine, the intelligence of the universe, the pulse that is the Creator itself, to make itself known to them. So that they're not afraid, so that they find the strength that they're looking for, so that they in this very moment are peaceful and at ease. Breathing in and breathing out. I think that is the highest prayer that we can offer to each other, is to imagine and see the divine itself living and breathing every single one of us. I hope there's a smile on your face, feeling the divine itself in yourself as well. For this small miracle that happens constantly and consistently, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I think all of us have experienced stress and anxiety in our life. Well, maybe that's not a limb. Or maybe it's a pretty strong limb that we've all experienced stress and anxiety in our life. It's the feeling like we're under the gun, like we can't go on, like we're unable to get our needs met. You know, all those things, that place we go and where we're stressing out. We're just stressed out. We can't keep anything under control like we want it to be. We're stressed out. And you know what the face of stress and anxiety is? The stress and anxiety, the face is worry. Worry is the face of stress and anxiety. Yeah. Renee said, "You're really not going to do that, are you?" I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because that's the way I am." That's the face of stress and anxiety, is worry. And what's the definition of worry? The definition of worry is to torment oneself with disturbing thoughts. I think it is the most explicitly simple definition I have ever run across at dictionary.com. I mean, there it is, to torment oneself with disturbing thoughts. That's what we do when we worry. We torment ourselves. We're back and forth. We're just, it's torment. It's just awful, and it feels awful. And the face is this. This is what it looks like. It looks like this. It looks like worry. All this anxiety and stress looks like worry. That's what it is. It's terrible. Who wants to be here? I made it red. You know, hopefully I'm not putting any on my nose. You know, this worry. That's the faith. That's the face of it. So why do we stress out, though? What is it all about? What is core. But where do we come from when we are worried? Like, what's that about, this anxiety and stress? Well, I want to read something from the Book of Joy, written by Douglas Abrams, but it's the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu and their conversation about joy. But the Dalai Lama says this: stress and anxiety often come from too much expectation and too much ambition. Then, when we don't fulfill that expectation or achieve that ambition, we stress out. Then we get stressed. We get anxious. Like, I didn't make it happen. What's wrong with me? My life doesn't look like it should look. Like, what's going on here? Why am I not further along in my life? What is this about? You know, it's not that we shouldn't have any ambition or that we shouldn't have any self-expectation, but when we slather and lather it on so thick that it results in worry, And you know, a lot of times where it comes from is that we like to compare ourselves to other people. Other people in our family, our friends who have made all this money or have this or that, and their life seems just so perfect. What happened to us? And then we worry. We worry. We get anxious. We get stressed out about it. So for this type of stress, one of the solutions is to change those questions. Instead of asking those questions about ourselves, like, oh, you know, what's wrong with me? Why can't I make my life look better? You know, why am I failing again? Like, those aren't the questions that we might ask when we notice ourselves in worry. How about this question? How about, what in life is really worth pursuing for me? What in life is really worth pursuing for me today? What is it that I really need? Like, could you feel the ease about that? Like, it takes the stress away from this thing over here, and it comes back here and says, well, what is worth pursuing for me in my life? Not in anybody else's life. Like, to look around, to pause and look around and look at the resources I have and look at what's around me and say, well, what here? What now? What feels the best to me, Kim? We were talking before, so she knows exactly what I mean. What feels the best to me now? You see, because that's the antidote to worry, is to bring it back to here and not out here and ask myself that question. What is worth pursuing in my life for me? What could I feel the best about today? And then take a step. And then do it over again. And then take another step. I've taken many of these side steps. Do you recognize those steps? Side steps over here. Yeah. In fact, you know, it wasn't too long ago that I was really stressing out about Spiritual Soul Center. Because here we're coming out of the pandemic, and the board is like, okay, it's time to meet. And people were saying, when are we going to meet? I'm getting emails online. Are you going to meet? You know, when are you going to meet in person? Why aren't you meeting? What was the deal? You have a space yet? What about a space? Do you have a space yet? You know, like, well, when is all this going to happen? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when are we going to have a space? And when are we going to meet? And how am I going to get the music going again? Do I have to call Jared? Does he have the time? I was a little worried. I was a little stressed about it. And my coach says, yes, I have a coach. And she said, well, Paula, what are you doing now? And how do you feel about it? I was like, well, you know, I'm doing what I want to do. I feel pretty good about what I am doing. Well, why don't you start from there? I mean, that's what, you know, it was like the ease and the peace started to come back to me. Instead of worrying about something that might or might not happen. Or taking on other people's stress and deciding that that had to be mine as well. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I feel a sense of ease about it now. Like, I'm not in charge. Are you in charge of anything? The only thing I'm in charge of is me deciding that I value peace and ease much more than I value stress and anxiety, and then make decisions about that. Yeah, that's the way that works. That's the way that works. So what else? So ambition and expectation. Ambition, because I wanted to make Spiritual Soul Center like something great. Well, it is something great. Look at you. You showed up here today. I feel good. I've got this message prepared. We're going to bake cookies this week. There's so many great things. But my expectation, if it's something different than that, that's what causes the worry. I'm done with that. I've told people before, what's the most important thing in my life is peace. And I do not want anything to take that from me. So I'm done with it. I'm done with it. So what else? What else causes worry in us? What else causes worry? Well, I think there's this thing, and last week I talked about really this idea of oneness. About we have this spiritual oneness, like we're all connected, right, spiritually. And that takes a little effort and maybe a little contemplation and meditation to understand really the extent of what that means. But you know what? We're connected in our humanity as well. We like to think that we're all independent and walking around this earth that way. But really, in our unique and essential specialness that we all are, in our uniqueness, we have much more in common than that. We have much more in common than our unique presentation. Jared and his music, me doing whatever I'm doing, you doing whatever you do, in our unique way of expressing in the world. But our sameness is so much stronger than that. Our sameness is, in our common humanity, is like off the charts there. But we worry when we feel separate, don't we? When we feel, for instance, like we are the only ones dealing with this, with a difficult thing. We feel isolated maybe and alone. Like I must be the only one. I imagine that's the way people who are contemplating suicide must feel to the extreme. But we feel it, and we feel it too. Like I'm the only one. I'm the only one that must feel this way. About getting old, about having surgery, about a number of things. Let me give you the examples that the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu give in their book about this exact thing. I had once asked the Archbishop how he handled worry and insomnia. And he said that he thought about people all around the world who were also awake and unable to sleep. Thinking about others and remembering that he was not alone lessened his distress and his worries. And he would say a prayer for them. Now notice, this doesn't say it took all my worries away and I was walking under the rainbow. It lessened the worry. It made him realize, I'll project onto this small example, that we're really all the same. And there's a bunch of people that are dealing with the same thing all over the world, in the same moment that I am, that you are, feeling the way I am and you are. And not that it takes the worry away, but there's something about the comfort of knowing that I'm not alone. It's why support groups work. Because we go there and we realize that we're not alone. It works in the 12-step program. It works in when I had cancer as a young girl. I went to a support group for a while. I made some connection there. It's like, hey, we were all in this together. And it made a difference in the way I felt about dealing with cancer. I know Barbara Timmons, she just had her knee done, and she's with a group online. Is it on Facebook? She's on a Facebook group, all the knee warriors, right? It's brought her through some dark nights and dark afternoons, by the way, right, Barbara? It's like, okay, we can talk about this, we can relate to each other, and in our common humanity, our worry dissipates a little bit. We can take a breath. We can realize that we're not alone. I would give teachings when I was young, the Dalai Lama explained, describing one of the experience that was caused him to experience stress and anxiety. You don't think of the Dalai Lama getting stressed out or anxious, do you? But it happens, according to him. I would be very nervous because I did not see myself as the same as the people in the audience. I didn't see myself that way. Then, after 1959, when I left Tibet, I started thinking, these people are just like me, same human being. If we think we are something special or not special enough, then fear and nervousness and stress and anxiety arise. He says, we are the same. When I meet someone, I always try to relate to the person on a basic human level. On that level, I know that just like me, he or she wishes to find happiness, to have fewer problems and less difficulty in their life. Whether I am speaking with one person or whether I'm giving a talk to a large group of people, I always see myself first and foremost as just another fellow human. Does it make worry go away? No, but we have this gift that we can recognize of our common humanity, of our sameness, of our desire for our children to have a better life, for our planet to be healthy and green, for so many things, to be safe. You know, it's why we can give these blessing bags to the homeless, because we want them to feel loved. We want that. We're all the same, and they want that same thing too. To realize our common humanity is a way to dispel some of the worry in our lives. And so we just have to pause. We just have to catch ourselves. When we find ourselves getting all, one of my coaching clients calls it all spun up. You know, do you ever get all spun up about things, worried and anxious? Yeah, is to remember our common humanity. But you might say, what about the big stuff, Paula? What about not just speaking in front of people or not being able to sleep? And, you know, those are all kind of little things. What about the big things? Is worry ever justified? Am I justified to be? I would say, well, if you want the result of worry, then you can make it justifiable. But I have never seen, and I know you know this, that worry has done a bit of good in your life. It's never solved a problem. It's never made you feel better. It's never contributed to the peace in your life, to peace in your life, to ease in your life. Never has happened. Anybody have that happen? We usually say, I worried myself to death. Yeah, that's what we like to say. I was worried to death about this. It's never solved the problem. But it's easy to get on that tangent. You know, Holly and Bruce have been in Maine since before Christmas because their granddaughter was born, grandson. His name is August, and you know he's been having some trouble. He's been having some health situations that have caused anxiety. And Holly, we were texting back and forth, and she said, please pray for me and please pray for August because this is what's happening. And I just sent back a simple prayer. I sent back the prayer not, oh, I'm so sorry, I hope everything's okay. That's not a prayer that I want to send. You know, what I really wanted to send and what I sent was that the love that is God is breathing him now. Like that. And Holly was like, oh, I needed that. You know, I needed to shift out of that. In the big things, worry does not work. Even when it seems warranted and it seems justifiable, it doesn't work to do anything. And so maybe catch ourselves. But I think that the source down deep is what I was coming to myself this week. The source of that kind of worry, that deep worry about people we love, about the condition of the world, about people who in Afghanistan right now, about people in the hospitals, is that we haven't come to grips in our life about the idea of impermanence. Everything is impermanent. Everything is temporary. Everything. There is nothing that is permanent. You know, some of us are so afraid of impermanence that we don't even want to talk about our will. You know, like put the will together. It's like, I can't talk about it. I'm going to be dead. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be dead whether you talk about it or not. What? We're not going to be. We are all one day closer to taking the last breath in this body. Well, this body for me, yours for you. That's the truth of it. And I think we haven't come to grips with that. We do. We kind of dip our toe in when something really difficult happens. And we stew around in that for a while, realizing that things are impermanent. And then we forget and we act as if it's not. But everything is impermanent. There is nothing that stays the same. But we want that. We want security. We want permanence. We want control. Right? And if things do change, we want them to change for the better. Right? We don't want any other change but change for good. The way we decide it's good. But that's not what happens. That's not the way it works. Let me tell you what Pema Chodron says. This is from her book, The Places That Scare You. Yeah. The places that scare you. Once I was changing jobs and houses at the same time, I felt insecure, uncertain, and groundless. Ever feel that way? Insecure, uncertain, and groundless. Hoping that my teacher would say something that would help me work with these changes, I complained to him about having trouble with transitions. And he looked at me sort of blankly and said, "We are always in transition. If you can just relax with that, you'll have no problem." Yeah. Problems encourage us to relax gradually and wholeheartedly into the ordinary and obvious truth of change. The ordinary and obvious truth of impermanence. Now, it's a real practice to relax into that, because our first reaction or action is many times to get spun up. You know, that's the truth. That's what happens. Another friend of mine on Facebook, and she texted me, she was concerned because she was having to go back for a biopsy on one of her breasts, and then she had a COVID test and she was doing this. Again, you know, when that happens, the greatest gift we can give each other is to pray and bring ourselves back to the moment, because that's the practice. That's the practice. Because it's all impermanent. We have a saying for it, you can't take it with you. You know, I mean, we all know that's true. You know. Or I always have to laugh in North Carolina. They say, well, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. You know what? They have the same saying in Utah. Yeah, same thing out there. I was like, oh, you guys say that? Everybody thinks only in their state. I digress. But here's the thing. These kinds of big things, the things that are grief and sorrow and these big heavy things, you know what helps with them? You know what's helped me with that? Is to decide to wear hope. I think that's the antidote, is to wear hope. Not to hope for something to change, and not to hope for a specific outcome, and not to hope that everything's going to be all right, but to feel hopeful. To just practice feeling hopeful. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to Soul Center. I don't know. I feel hopeful. I'm deciding to walk hopeful. And you know what? That changes everything. See this old sign here? Yeah. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. When Renee, you've heard me say this before, when Renee was in Costa Rica, and they were getting ready to go ziplining, I think, with one of the guides. And people were a little nervous about that. And he said, well, if you worry, you die. If you don't worry, you die. So why worry? You know. So there was the guru right there. Maybe I could have just condensed this whole presentation into just that, and we could have been home by now. When I was thinking about this, I was reminded of what I'll call a prayer, a chant, from Julian of Norwich. Anybody familiar with Julian of Norwich? She published the first English written book, I think it was in the 14th century, written by a woman. And it was called the Revelations of the Divine. Revelations of the Divine. And her quote that I remembered the first part, this is a great thing about the Google, right? You just start typing something in and you can find what you were looking for. And here, she led an austere life. I mean, she put herself in meditation and here's what she said that really hit me to round out this message. She said this: all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. We're going to take that into meditation today. Are you ready? Yeah, let's do that. Let's round this out with this. And I'm going to invite you to chant with me as well. I'll lead you. We'll begin by breathing in and out, and to follow our breath and to slow our mind and our body. To simply breathe in and breathe out. Drop your shoulders. Be still into this moment. Deep breath in and gently out. And just bring yourself into the cadence that's comfortable, breathing in and breathing out. And I'll invite you to chant with me this phrase: all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. I am filled with hope, all shall be well. Together, I am filled with hope, all shall be well. I am filled with love, all shall be well. Together, I am filled with love, all shall be well. I trust in the divine, all shall be well. Together, I trust in the divine, all shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Grateful for this peace and ease, for this time of calm and clarity, for the open heart and open mind, for the knowing beyond any shadow that I see in the outer world, that all shall be well. That all shall be well, and that all manner of things shall be well. Amen. So let's pray this as we do at Spiritual Soul Center. If you know this prayer, please pray it. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. Amen. Until next time.